in the frozen heartland of Russia. 8 men have taken a gamble to make a fortune.
We're gonna be out here ourselves in the snow.
With a crew of Americans and Russians.
Get out of the way.
Must unite to have any chance of conquering the coldest forest in the world.
At the end of the day, it's payback time.
Now, in a desperate attempt to increase production,
I'm ready to just get out there and get some logs.
the crew is forced to use ancient Soviet logging towers to keep their operation going.
Bring it down.
And just when they need him most,
Can't trust that guy.
their Russian mechanic disappears.
В чем проблема?
He left such a pile of destruction. The crew boss Sean Vann has no choice but to make a dodgy backstreet deal. For an ancient Soviet-era cutting machine
That looks like a piece of shit.
that puts both his life
We gotta go now.
and his entire Siberian operation in danger. Covering Siberia is a frozen forest that's 4 times the size of Alaska, known as the taiga. In this freezing wilderness, Arctic winds make the winters here among the coldest on Earth. It's the 22nd day for Sean Vann and his team of American and Russian loggers at their test cut. And the crew are preparing for yet another tough day in the forest.
Sean, the colonel's here, dude.
Their Russian boss, Colonel Yuri Panchuk, is back on site.
Wonder what he wants.
3 weeks after arriving in the forest, Sean's crew should have already cleared their test cut, but they're only halfway through.
Шон, лес нужен. Надо больше объема давать. Мы вырубаем эту лесосеку. Нужен мне лес. Давай руби быстрее, 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 быстрее давай. Надо как-то выходить с этой ситуации.
It's only been a month since Sean Vann assembled a team of Russian and American loggers.
That's just so frustrating.
Sean made a deal worth $500,000 with the powerful timber boss, Colonel Panchuk.
This is my one shot. They've been given a little trial piece. Then there's a promise of more up the road.
But so far on the test cut, the crew has failed to impress the Colonel. Sean's dream is quickly becoming a fractured nightmare. The crew is wrecking their chance of getting the huge contract from the Colonel. Right in front of his boss, Yuri Pastorov quickly points the blame for their slow progress on the Americans.
Там очень много несобранного леса. Они дурняк выхватили толстый лес. Кто хочет мелкий собирать? Кто не хочет. Пускай собирает, что он стоит. Всем надо толстый.
Мелкий забрал. Как можно сказать это? Это просто неправда. Все маленький взял, все собрал, все прилывал. Я все забрал. Просто это неправда. Все.
Пойдем, пойдем. Хорошо.
Зубный.
Я спорить не буду. Я спорить не буду.
We don't go telling the client that we're leaving a bunch of small wood out there because we're not.
Is that what you just told me?
Yeah. Which is total.
Американские операторы, надо быстро нам работать, научиться. Потому что если такая заготовка будет, тогда не надо сворачиваться.
The Colonel is unhappy with what he sees. If production doesn't pick up, he'll kick Sean and his crew off of his land.
The Colonel, he's threatening to run us off the job if we don't up production and get it to the level, that we said we were going to do in our contract. So, I mean, it's an absolute mess right now, and we're threatening to get run off because we're not performing, and it's crap. We're all going to go home broke if we don't get our asses in gear over here. Everybody to the trailer now. I don't care if you're cutting, forwarding, loading, whatever you're doing.
We're running out of logs, Sean.
Get over here to the trailer now.
Before Sean's emergency meeting, he confronts Yuri for undermining his authority in front of the Colonel.
Он клиент наш.
Что,
Три
я
смены
понимаю, ты
есть.
чем-то недоволен?
Не надо поговорить с клиентами. Если это проблема, ты говоришь с нами. Это неправильно. Мы как одна команда.
Да.
Все.
Sean's about to lose the only land he has, and his crew are on the verge of a revolt. His dream of building a logging business in Siberia is near to collapse.
You hear me?
Yeah, definitely all hear you.
All right, I just got out of a meeting with the colonel, and he chewed my ass again about production. He's this close to throwing us off. This is the opportunity that we've all wanted, that we all came over here for, and now it's falling apart. All that matters right now is we get more production. We got to get this thing done in the next couple of days. That's it.
That's total bull. I mean, you send me out to go handful and I go handful to up the production. If you really want production, go spend the money and buy some more machines. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Oh, yeah.
You know, it's always been my plan to have more equipment up here. I know we need it. We've always needed it. That's not a question.
Well, everybody here is trying their ass off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Working their hands to the bone.
But Brandon Woodward has another simple reason for their recent failure.
Another big help would be your mechanic, Vitaly. Where the is your mechanic? We're turning more branches than harvesting.
So that's my problem. I need to get it taken care of. What we really got to pull this out of the bag now.
Let's do it then, guys. Do it.
Back out on the machines and let's cut.
Sean's supposed to have 3 Russian crew members, but his mechanic, Vitaly Tarantsov, hasn't been seen for a few days.
You know, I got the colonel in one ear, more trucks, more loading, more this, more that. I don't have a mechanic. He's a no-show. He's AWOL.
Last week, Vitaly began work on Sean's borrowed Russian skidder, a Soviet-era machine that pulls big, valuable logs from the forest. He got the machine running, but it never appeared on site. Sean desperately needs it, but he also needs Vitaly, as he keeps their logging equipment running in the freezing conditions. Sean heads to the village of Novocherno-Richensky in search of both Vitaly and the skidder.
Supposed to have the skidder done and up to the woods. Haven't seen hide nor hair of the machine nor him. Vitaly! Vitaly! Some work's been done to it, but it's not done.
The skidder would double the amount of logs Sean's crew could pull out of the forest, but it's in bits, again.
Without this machine, we don't move those trees. We gotta have this thing in the woods.
The skidder's useless, and Vitaly is nowhere to be found.
Can't trust that guy.
Sean drives 140 kilometers east to the industrial city of Krasnoyarsk. He plans to visit Vitaly at his home. Krasnoyarsk is a city of over 1 million people. Vitaly lives in a neighborhood that is unsafe for those who don't live there. So Sean has brought along a local, Vann, for protection.
Это его дом, да? Да, окей. Окей, давай. Давай, пошли.
Sean enters Vitaly's building complex and enter the unknown.
Виталий, здесь живет Куров? Вчера видели. Пропал. Слушай, поехали, Шон, поехали.
Vitaly's not home.
Hey!
But just before they leave, he appears from nowhere.
Виталий!
Где ты был? Что с тобой произошло?
Ну, в чем проблема? Вы же механик просто. Сейчас вы нету там. Вы же неделю не... Потому что неделю... Сколько раз я звонил? Не встретились, да? Звонил. Сказал, давай позвонить мне, если проблем. Не хочешь. Я перезвонить, у меня телефон сгорел. Как можно без телефона неделю или полтора?
Vitaly doesn't offer any explanation for his disappearance.
Это конца работа. Это конца работы тогда.
Интересно. Вот интересный момент. Если бы мы...
Это очень интересный момент.
Вы близко так переговорите?
Понятно? Вот это.
Все, Шон, поехали, Шон.
Поехали.
Sean sacks him on the spot.
Done. It's the end of our business relationship, let's put it that way. We're not going to be slowed down by some like this. Ну давай, надо искать механик новый.
Окей.
Он все.
To have any chance at the Colonel's $500,000 block of trees, Sean has to find a new mechanic. If he fails, both his machines and his Siberian operation will grind to a halt. Cherno-Richensky, the home to timber boss Colonel Panchuk's yard. The colonel controls the forest and has threatened to kick Sean and his crew off his land if they don't increase production. But Sean has made matters worse. He's just sacked his only mechanic.
You know, it's Siberia, equipment's breaking all the time. So I gotta run in and talk to the colonel to see if he knows a local mechanic I can get a hold of.
But out in the middle of Siberia, there's a lot to lose for all involved. Colonel Yuri Panchuk controls 1.35 square kilometers of frozen land, and hundreds of villagers depend on him for work. If he has no logs to sell, the villagers will go hungry.
Если мы не заготовим, это финансовый кризис.
Здравствуйте. Юрий Борисович здесь? Да, отлично.
The colonel gets 60% of Sean's production. It is critical for all that Sean's crew increases their output.
Да, Юрий, как дела?
Да ничего.
Вопрос есть по механике, да? Надо новый механик собираем.
Да. Я сейчас позвоню.
Хорошо.
Sean's future depends on the colonel, who calls in a favor from his vast network of contacts.
Потом вы даже не переживайте.
Хорошо, спасибо за помощь.
The colonel delivers, but at a cost.
Шон, нужен мне лес. Давай руби быстрее. Быстрее руби. Вот до конца месяца давай мы вырубаем эту лесосеку, уходим дальше.
Да, окей, понятно.
Sean and the crew have just 1 week to fell the remaining 3,000 trees on their cut. If they fail, they'll be evicted from the colonel's land. But with his skidder in bits, Sean really needs a way to increase production.
One answer, get more iron. You know, it's gonna be tough. They don't have dealers around here. I can't just go to a yard and make a deal. I gotta go snoop around, ask questions, find some equipment.
Sean returns to the frozen forest to tell his crew his new plan.
We've got to get our production up. We know we need more equipment. There's no choice in that. I'm out of here. I'm going to get equipment. I'm going to grab Brandon and Yuri. We're going to go out and see what we can find. So I'm relying on you guys to take care of this. Jared's in charge. I won't spend more than 2 days gone. Sounds good. Carry on. Kick ass. We'll be in touch. All right. Brandon, ruck up and get the hell out of here. All right. Take it easy, guys.
As Sean, Brandon, and Yuri leave to hunt for more equipment, the rest of the crew begins to cut down the last 3,000 trees on their test cut. They have just 2 days and only 2 machines.
So I'm just gonna put in as much time as I can and try to get this job finished up.
In an effort to increase production, Zach Sheets and Ruslan Saidulin resort to felling trees by hand.
It's definitely desperate times for us right now. This whole crew is under a lot of pressure to get the hell off this unit and get up to where the money's at. I need this to work. I absolutely need this to work.
But after just 30 minutes of cutting, Josiah hits a problem. He's got the forwarder hung up on a tree stump hidden under a meter of snow.
I am stuck.
He tries to free it, but he's stuck firm.
Not looking good.
Zach arrives on the scene.
My forwarder's stuck pretty good. Not seen a forwarder stuck this bad before. It looks like he's tried to get himself off of there for quite a while and dug himself in a pretty big hole.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Hey!
Joe!
Get out there!
It's okay, don't worry, it's okay.
Right now we only have 2 machines, and the forwarder's our only way to get logs to the landing. If that machine breaks, we don't have anything. We just put everything that we have at risk. I don't want to out, you know. I want to get some logs out there, man. Every log I get out there, that's money I get to send home to my family, you know?
Josiah spent thousands to bring his young wife Jai to the US from the Philippines. But he can't find steady work, and the couple are broke.
And it took us 18 months to get her visa. 60 grand later, we're in America. My entire life savings, plus about 15 in credit card debt. We're maxed out in every way possible, emotionally, physically.
Josiah grew up logging, but his experience working with heavy machinery in Antarctica got him a place on Sean's crew.
Then this is me at the South Pole, which is where I've spent the majority of my time. Working in Siberia, for me, it's huge. It's very important.
But he hasn't been a full-time logger for 10 years. Has his inexperience put Sean's operation at risk?
Look, the frame is sitting on that right now. This is what happens when you have unexperienced forwarder operators in the machine trying to run around out here.
I was driving. I just wanted to cut that stuff and get out of here. Now everybody's here. Everybody wants to do it their way.
Back up. Let me get this thing out of here.
Whatever.
Zach is only 22, but has been using logging equipment since he was 14. He uses the boom arm to pivot the forwarder off the stump.
We're free!
The forwarder is undamaged, but it's taken valuable time to free it.
What it comes down to is Joe should have seen it. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing to see when you got a big old stump staring at you and you decide to drive over it. You know, we're wasting time sitting here handling it. We're all losing money because of this.
If the crew fails to cut the rest of the block in the next week, their Siberian dream will end. After a few hours of uninterrupted work, the crew hit a rhythm, and soon there is a stack of logs by the roadside.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Ruslan, keep coming.
Ruslan arrives in a truck to transport their logs to the colonel.
Yeah, look at that. We're actually getting somewhere now. Yeah, Ruslan, just pull right in alongside the forwarder there and we can get you loaded.
What the?
The crew has not sent any logs to the colonel for 2 days. This delivery restarts their production.
Yeah, guys, we got a full load on now. You guys get down to the yard, get back as quick as possible. That way we can keep this rolling.
All right, go ahead and get this thing out of here and get back as soon as possible. I'll expect you back in a couple hours.
All right, buddy, we got a good copy in here. We're hitting the road then.
Ruslan and Josiah start their 5-hour journey to the colonel's log yard. Meanwhile, 160 kilometers away, crew boss Sean Vann heads north with Brandon and Yuri. They're on the hunt to find more logging equipment.
I'm under a lot of pressure now to get, up production, or this whole thing falls apart from the colonel on down.
They're heading to an old equipment yard. Sean has a tip about a second-hand Russian felabuncher, a machine used to cut down trees.
Forestry machine.
It's Marmont. It's what?
Marmont.
Marmont. I mean, not that I'm exactly picky, but I didn't picture something from the 60s.
Динозавр. Она очень старая.
I kind of assumed, I don't know, maybe something new.
This is their version.
It's so late in the season that most functioning equipment is at work in the forest.
Very old
Not
machine.
bad. Юрий, как ты думаешь?
Это очень старая машина.
Да, очень старая.
Она, походу, много лет не
Как
работала.
называется это? Да. Как называется?
ЛТ-19.
LT-19. Yeah, it's like a tank undercarriage on that thing. Look at that.
Ты посмотри, головы нету, блин, цилиндры не родные стоят. Это очень старая машина, она много лет не работает. И вряд ли мы ее, парень,
Да,
столько
вот
заведем.
видишь. This is a no-go, man.
Linkages and hoses.
It's just been stripped.
Yeah.
Big problem.
Очень большая проблема.
Да, маленькие деньги, большие проблемы.
Это не вариант. This thing's just bad. This is scrap metal.
Восстановить, знаешь, сколько денег надо будет и времени? А времени нету.
It's been stripped.
Sean needs a machine that he can put to work right away. He can only hope the dealer hears about something better.
Ну, кошмар. Ну,
На рабочий состояние.
да, только так. Не надо вот это.
Хорошо.
Ну, Владимир, спасибо вам большое. Удачи. Если искать, давай позвоним.
Sean, Brandon, and Yuri continue their search. If they don't find a working machine soon, they have no hope of finishing their test cut this week.
We need to put more trees on the ground as fast as we can.
Yeah, hi, Sean. Yeah, hey, man. No, you found something. Whatever, I'm going to look at it right now. Thanks a lot, man. I owe you one.
Sean gets the call he's been hoping for.
contact of mine has given me some leads. He says he's got a decent piece of iron, so we'll go check it out.
With only 4 weeks left to log this season, Sean is running out of time to make his fortune in the frozen forest of Siberia.
Every move I make is a gamble, so there's a lot riding on this decision, and there's a lot riding on us.
In the village of Novocherno-Richensky, Josiah Heiser and Ruslan Saidulin arrive at Colonel Panchuk's timber yard. 3 days ago, the colonel threatened to evict Sean's crew. Now, Josiah and Ruslan are delivering their first 20-ton load of the week.
Right, so where the hell, dude? Where is everybody?
Normally, the yard is a frenzy of activity with timber workers.
We need to go check this situation.
As there have been no deliveries from the forest for 2 days, the colonel sent his workers home. There's nobody here to use the 30-year-old crane to offload their logs.
Nobody, my friends, nobody. These train cars, that's how we're gonna get paid, you know, when you get our logs onto these right here.
Their load could be worth thousands of dollars, but only if Josiah and Ruslan can work out how to unload the logs.
Let's do it ourselves without somebody.
You feel comfortable with that?
Dangerous, but I try. Let's go.
They don't want to load our logs? We'll load our logs.
The 24-meter crane runs on tracks. The grapple unloads logs from trucks onto the deck, next to waiting trains. The crane operator sits in a small, rusty cabin that hangs 18 meters above ground. But Ruslan has no idea how much weight the crane can lift. Overloading the grapple could be catastrophic.
It's dangerous. It's not a job.
But unloading the logs is a risk Ruslan is prepared to take.
I need money. I need to do this job for all the guys. And only I do this job.
Get this party started.
Да, конечно.
You're just fine where your family's right now. You're not going to hit anything.
Nice and easy. Don't need to rush. My friend, it's too scary. I just begin to... Я даже раки уронил.
Ruslan's dropped his only means of communication through the window.
Signals, all right? Okay.
Even with it, communication between the Russian and American had been difficult.
Right there, stop.
Now, it's almost impossible. To direct Ruslan,
Stop.
Josiah has to stand in a dangerous area.
This is America. Down, down, go down. Okay.
I'm not American.
Bring it down.
Josiah finally gets through to Ruslan, and the grapple swings down towards the logs.
There you go, grab him.
Lowering the grapple was the easy part. Now he has to try to lift 10 tons of logs.
Bring her up. This side.
Он еще и тяжел.
Once all the logs are unloaded, they're officially delivered to the colonel. Josiah and Ruslan are a little closer to sending a paycheck home to their families.
That grab pool right here is about $600. So it's just good stuff. There's money in our pocket right here.
450 kilometers north of the crew's forest cut is the timber village of Alexandrovka. Sean, Yuri, and Brandon arrive in the yard of local timber boss, Oleg Shavarev, a powerful man in the Siberian logging industry. It's midwinter, and Oleg already has 150,000 cut trees to sell, worth $3 million. More importantly, he has a 30-year-old fella buncher for sale.
No, that's basically the thing we're looking for. That's what we're looking for.
That looks like a piece of shit. It's got Russia written all over it. You know, I didn't know what to expect, but it's a far cry from the machines we've been running, but it's not going to win any beauty pageants. I mean, it's definitely ugly.
It's kind of an old dinosaur of a thing, but they do cut trees. It looks like hell, looks like a piece of but, you know, we'll see.
Feller bunchers cut trees and pile them up for collection. Its body sits on top of tracks, so it moves like a tank. A skilled operator could cut 200 trees an hour with it, but only if it's in good working order. In the US, this Feller buncher would be found in a junkyard. But in Siberia, Sean has no choice but to try to bring it back to life. Oleg has instructed his manager to drive a hard bargain with Sean.
Вы же использовали этот сезон? Использовали? Да.
Вот он.
Понял, понял.
Машина советских времен.
Да. Это...
Коммунисты умели строить.
Да. О! Как комфортно!
Что?
Это поворачивание, да?
Только вперед-назад. Все больше.
Понял? She feels like something very, very old. I mean, I haven't run something with sticks like this for a long time. It's gonna take some getting used to, bro. Ну, сейчас очень поздно в сезоне, да? Может, вариантов было очень мало. Один вариант. Сколько стоит? Как ваше предложение?
Бесценно.
Бесценно.
Пойдем.
Давай в полки, больше разговаривал по поводу.
The manager doesn't want to haggle on camera.
Well, I'm gonna go see what kind of a deal we can make on this thing.
Sean has put thousands of dollars in to start his logging operation. With only 4 weeks left of the cutting season, he's about to dig deeper into his pockets.
I just hope in the end that we can actually make some money and make this worth it.
Спасибо вам большое. Увидимся. Счастливо, да? It's ours.
All right.
Sean refuses to say how much the ancient machine cost.
Deals are done here in a different way. I'm not telling anybody how much I pay for it. You know, it's not about money. The main thing is I got the thing. It's ready for work. Now all I got to do is get the thing transported back to our cutting block and cut.
Sean has gambled to obtain the equipment he needs to increase production. But just 50 kilometers from Oleg's yard, his plan hits a major hurdle.
Is this a river?
This is the frozen Yenisei River. Completely frozen. No other way to get across.
To get his new machine back to his test block, Sean has to drive the old 25-ton Feller buncher across the frozen river. But this winter, the ice is thinner than it has ever been. Central Siberia, Russia. American logger Sean Vann and 2 of his crew are moving their newly bought Feller buncher 400 kilometers to their forest cut. But they've hit a major hurdle: the frozen Yenisei River. The Yenisei flows for over 3,000 kilometers through central Siberia. In winter, a solid layer of ice covers the fast-flowing Arctic waters. For 2 months of the year, the ice is usually strong enough to drive across the river. But even the locals wouldn't attempt to drive across in a heavy logging machine.
Здравствуйте. What it says in the bare 25 ton. Опасно. Это большой риск.
But they don't know the exact way to the Feller buncher.
The limit on that ice bridge is 25 tons. I'm assuming this way is somewhere around there. It seems impossible. Talking life and death again. Russia, man.
Yuri Pastorov is from Siberia and knows the dangers of crossing over ice all too well.
Ну, даже на нашей реке проваливаются, скажем так, большегрузные машины проваливаются под лед.
Да?
Да, погибают люди.
Well, he's saying that, you know, it's a serious situation. On his region, a little bit colder than here. Machines go through the ice, and, you know, people are occasionally killed on these things, but...
Как нам отсюда все это протащить по льду и самим не утонуть? How thick do you think this ice is?
I don't know. I'd say, I don't know. It might be 70 centimeters. You know? Might be yay thick. You do not go fast on it, right? I mean, you go on it slow and you track across it slow.
Well, I'm not convinced, but I have no choice but to trust you, I suppose. Gambling. Always gambling. Hopefully we win.
Without their new Feller buncher, the crew will be evicted from the cut. But in order to get it on site, they'll have to risk their lives. The winter ice across this stretch of the river should be a meter thick. But this year, the half-a-kilometer crossing is only averaging 45 centimeters. If the Felabuncher sits on the ice too long, or strays from the reinforced center, it could crash through the ice into the freezing water.
We don't know what spots are thin. We're basically going to be testing the road for everybody else, and we might just find a bad spot.
With almost 20 years experience logging in Russia, Sean is aware he could lose his life.
I can't ask someone else to do something that I'm, not willing to do myself. So I'll run it across and, we'll hope for the best. Yeah, no, вы на пикап, да? You in the pickup? Вперед первый, да? You drive? Он за рулем, да? Я смотрю за тобой. Okay, guys. Скоро увидимся. Come, see you guys in a minute. Yeah.
Sean's plan is for the pickup to test the ice, with Yuri riding in the back, checking Sean's progress.
Потому что задумал, что это очень опасно. Просто ему надо соблюдать абсолютную осторожность. Я бы не поехал.
As Sean approaches the ice, the river security makes a final attempt to stop him.
Надо туда, наш справа ждать нам. Не выдержит, опасно, просто опасно. Каждый день, да, еще тепло будет, и еще опасно будет. Давай, иди уже, и турки, блин. Это просто опасно, вообще безумие просто.
Ignoring the warning, Sean waits for the signal from Yuri.
Готовы, поехали, давай.
Roger that, we're off.
Just about to cross the threshold onto the ice here.
Sean slowly moves from solid ground at barely 8 kilometers per hour in a 25-ton steel box. The only thing between him and the freezing water is just 45 centimeters of ice.
It's absolutely critical that you stay in the center part of the road here. This is where the strength is. Out on the sides, either to the left or to the right, that ice very weak out there on the edges.
All right, we're about halfway there. Go on. Там тонкий лес, провалишься. Стоп. Нету дороги. Ты куда полез?
But just halfway across, Sean loses control.
Вернись обратно на дорогу.
He's heading for the weakest part of the ice.
Me. Jesus.
Ты меня не слышишь? Куда полез дороги?
25 tons of machine is sitting on just 45 centimeters of ice. If it gives way, Sean faces certain death.
Sean, go! Don't stop! It's ice!
All like pressure was pushing the stick.
This is not the place to be losing control.
It's like it's just like it's got some pressure surge or something. Давление, да, или что? Вот туда, мам!
Every second stationary means the weight of the Felabuncher builds on the weakening ice.
Аккуратнее, лед трещит. Пробуй назад выходи.
Stand way back, guys. Let's try to back this out of here. We gotta try this again. I'm just gonna take it real slow. What the hell was that?
Ты провалишься. Куда полез?
The surface layer begins to crack. If the Felabuncher falls through, it could easily take Brandon and Yuri with it.
Сейчас провалишься. Надо аккуратнее назад.
Sean eventually regains control, and they can press on.
We can't be leaving the road. We can't be stopping. Now there's no control, or very little control, or I don't know what's going on because we can't assess the problem. We got to be moving. Stop up. Nice. You can go through.
The Felabuncher could mean the crew make $500,000 rather than going home broke. Sean's simple fix seems to have worked.
What I did was turn the RPMs down a little bit. So far, that seemed to have helped. Getting very close now. Yeah! Woo!
Take a nose back.
Did it! Did it! What?
Amazingly enough. Can we not do that again?
We don't need to. I'm happy to be on solid ground, man. I'm ready to get this thing the rest of the way, get it to the block, and start cutting. Get here, look at.
Sean took one for the team today, you know. I've gained more respect for our leader, and I really feel like it's going to pay off in the end.
Мы сюда приволокли, сейчас ее загоним в лес, то бишь у нас до конца сезона есть время заработать денег. Поэтому Шону благодарны все.
Sean's long experience of working in Siberia has been invaluable today.
Down the road we go. Get this goat out in the woods where we're at. Hopefully we got a couple more weeks to cut with it.
He secured more cutting equipment for his logging crew. And once again, they now have a shot at a serious amount of cold, hard cash in Siberia.